Totally disinterested.
Hello everyone, today we're just going to be running through a quick session for 502A, I believe it is. And so Guy's going to be my client and I'm going to be counselling him. He's going to have anger issues, which is a little bit hard for Guy because he's probably the mellowest guy I think I know. So bear with our acting and I hope this helps. So James, welcome to today's session. Thanks so much for coming in. How'd you find the place?
Oh, I was pretty much sent you, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not hard to find.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Not hard to find, that's good. Before we get started today, I just wanted to run through a couple of things with you, just so you know how I work and how we'll be working together.
Okay.
First thing I want to bring to your attention is that this space is obviously confidential between you and I, so you can feel free to share whatever it is that's on your mind. And now I do like to take notes throughout the session. Would you feel comfortable with me taking just a couple of notes? They just jog my memory when the next time I see you.
I mean, just like how long is the session going to be? Because I've got work to do. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great question. So usually they go for about 50 minutes, depending, how that goes for you. And I'm very interested to see, what's brought you here today. There's just one more thing I should probably mention, and that is that there is a limitation to the confidentiality that I can offer you, and that's just in terms of safety. So your safety is paramount to me and to our organisation. So if at any time I felt that I did have any concerns for your safety, I would take that to another party, of course bringing my concerns to you first. So how does that all sound to you?
Yeah, look, that's fine. I mean, we do that all the time anyway, so I'm quite used to that.
Okay, yeah. What do you do?
I'm a community services worker for a place called All Care.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do a lot of the frontline work. A lot of the client assessment.
Yeah.
And just referring to a little bit of case management, finding services for people.
Fantastic.
So
okay.
yeah.
And how long have you been doing that for?
It's been about 4 years now.
4 years. Okay. Fantastic. And what brought you to that line of work?
I mean, I've always been interested in kind of helping in the community and that.
Yeah.
Kind of my previous role was sort of more in business admin. Got a little bit sick of that, so I just kind of moved across. And just pretty much been into it ever since. So it's really good. Really good, very busy. But there's always been a lot of good out of the end of the day, which has been good.
Yeah. That's your motivator for getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
Now I can see you looking at your watch, and you've mentioned time previously.
Yeah.
What are your time constraints today?
Well, basically, an hour I'm spending here is an hour I'm not, at the desk, and there's only 2 other people now, so.
Wow. Okay.
we're 3 is even not enough because we go through about 50, 60 clients a day, a lot of new people and so on. So like every time a new client comes in, that takes one person out. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So not being there means that the 2 other people got to work harder for the hour, and our management had decided I got to come here. So so they decided let's make a bad place worse for an hour.
Okay.
So,
All right. So I'm hearing that time is a premium for you, and you make it sound as though you've not come here today off your own will, I suppose.
No, they told me I got to come here.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And why do you think they've asked you to attend?
Well, they've told me straight up. They said that I'm too angry, and I'm like, well, I've got my job to do, and you're getting in the way of my job. So
okay.
they didn't take too well to that.
Yeah. Right. So the management are getting in the way.
Well, look, I mean, they've been taking people off the front line. We should have about 5 people working out front, and they've taken 2 people away to do compliance work.
Of course, 50 clients. It sounds really busy.
Yeah. Oh, well, like it's not just you go tick box. It's like it can take up to 30 minutes to go through. Just a normal client, they come in and just kind of doing that follow up takes 30 minutes. But if everything's going well, if there's any issues, if there's an issue with if they're not happy with the counsellor they got, or they've lost their funding, or somebody comes in, they've lost their disability support, and then or there's some issue like that, that can take hours. So that's where the main issue is. But you know, they've decided that you know they want two people in the office doing paperwork, and I'm like, we don't need, you know, that's a manager job. You know, managers are there to do the paperwork, and they obviously not good enough to do it, so they've got to get other people to do it for them. So.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
That's not. I can understand where your stress is coming from there. So, it sounds to me like you're a very capable person, and you do a lot of work across a lot of different areas. And you sound super dedicated that you are, you know, watching the clock and wanting to get back to work, which is always an asset to any organisation. Help me understand how you mean they're getting in your way by sending people to compliance. Is there a reason for that?
Well, managers aren't very good. They spend all the time, you know, stuffing around.
Yeah.
Like we've got this audit coming up, but they've known we get an audit every 3 years, like every other organisation. It's like you've got 3 years to sort it out. 3 years they're sitting having like fat chats and meetings and stuff, and now suddenly they come, oh, we never saw this coming. It's like every three years.
Yeah.
I'm like, it comes every 3 years. You should plan for it. And now they go, all stress, panic. Let's get people off the front line. You know, let's all stop everything. And I'm like, well, that's, you know, if we did our job properly, audits would come, audits would go, and we'd move on. But I'm like, now it's this big mess up.
Okay, and what does this audit mean for the organisation?
Oh, look, it is very big. Like, it's basically funding. You know, everything's about funding. If we fail the audit, we lose our funding, and we close down the next day. Like, it's that quick. So, like they should have given this the proper attention throughout the year, not like leave it till the last minute.
Okay.
Yeah,
so this audit sounds quite important for the organisation. I mean, that's quite scary to think that the next day you and your colleagues might not have a job.
Yeah.
Can I ask how long you've had those staff being taken away from you?
It's been about 2 weeks now.
Okay.
So, but like just within that 2 weeks, the backlog's just gone. So we've had to actually turn clients away, which is really frustrating. And that's when, you know, it came to about 5 o'clock, and you know, I was happy enough to let people stay behind. The manager said they've got to go because we've got to now all go and do paperwork from 5 to 6, and that's when I told the manager what I thought of them, thought of their ability and so on, and I, you know, explained to them why we are going to fail the audit because of them. Yeah. And they didn't like that, obviously, but but you know, we've got 5 clients sitting up front. You know, we don't know, has that person come in because they've lost their funding? Yeah. You know, has that person need help? Is that person in danger? We don't know. We just said, sorry, we've got to go. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. Right.
So you sound like you really look after the clients that walk through your doors, which is brilliant.
Well, without the clients, we're not going to get funding anyway. So, so it becomes like a vicious circle. We chase the audit, we chase the paperwork, lose the clients. You lose the clients, you lose your funding. So, it's...
I'd like to come back to this outburst that you've had with your manager. Now, that sounds pretty significant. Why? Was there any? Did you try and voice your concerns before that, or how did that happen?
Yeah, no. Look, it was. I mean, it's quite a sudden change. Like, you know, like we're going along like very busy, but you know, always getting by, and then suddenly the guy's gone, right, okay, you two need to come help me with the paperwork, and I didn't say anything because I was like, you know, deep breath, and just like didn't work, and then things got worse and worse, and then I was like, okay, so and then but then I just worked back to like 6, and then he said, right, 5 o'clock, you got to, you know, because normally we only work till 5, you know, because, but I decided I'll just stay back and catch up with the clients. Then he's decided, no, you work until 6 anyway, you can come help us with the audit from 5 to 6. And I said, no. And I was like, that's not how it's going to happen. Yeah. But yeah, like I probably should have, I don't know, haven't spoken to him before that. Because I don't feel like it gets through to him. So.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that not speaking to your boss doesn't if you tried to speak to him, you don't think it would get through to him. But you know, that kind of more aggressive tone did get through to him.
Oh,
Did it? I'm not sure.
No.